So for the short tail, we're gonna need to cut somewhere right around here, cut the frame and take this whole back end off. I mean, right now I do have this luggage rack with a bag on it, which, you know, can be super convenient at times. So I'm gonna be losing all this and kind of losing that convenience. My thought is, and I'm not sure how this will work, but when I cut this off to save the whole back as one unit, one piece, and then do a little bit of modification to it. So like the short tail, I will be able to take the short tail off, undo the 2 bolts, disconnect the wiring harness, and then slide this whole piece back in. So I would have to fabricate something so I can insert it in, something where I can bolt it back on, and then keep this whole wiring harness together and just plug it back in. So that way I can swap out this piece for the short tail or take off the short tail and put this whole piece back on. Now obviously when I put this back on, it's not going to be, I'm not going to put the full seat on and have it where it would support someone's weight, so no one would sit in the back. But it should be strong enough, sturdy enough just to be able to put the luggage rack on, so that way I can have this bag for doing any short trips, anything like that. But to get started, I'm just going to have to take this bag off, and then we'll take off the seat and look and see what we need to do to measure and cut the back. We'll also unscrew this side. Alright, so we're going to have to take off these 2 screws, and this here is the harness for the tail light. Of course, we're going to save these. So that comes off. Now I want to keep this whole back piece as a single unit. Like I mentioned, I'd like to be able to modify it so that way I can insert it and reattach for when I want to put my luggage rack back on. Take the short tail off, put this full-size one back on, and then I got a wiring harness so that way I can just swap out wiring harnesses. So I don't want to cut anything on this wiring harness. I probably should just take the fender off so that way I don't damage the fender when trying to cut the bar. So I'll take the fender off, but other than that, I shouldn't have to take anything else off. Yeah, so, yep, the fender just hangs down. We'll take this wire. So here's the harness for the front, and that is the connection for the back, but I'm going to leave those all attached and just move this whole thing down. And so now we have this whole section open. So now I'm just going to have to measure, mark my lines, and then cut, and this whole piece will come off. Okay, so watching the video, it looks like it goes about right there, lines up with that. But of course there's going to be this plate underneath, which these holes are going to have to line up. This for the seat peg, and these 2 for these 2 holes here. And it looks like that's pretty adjustable right there, so it can slide back and forth. We just need to make sure we also get that right in there. And then this adjusts there. And it looks like they give 2 sets of holes, so if you did make it further back, you could still attach it. But I'm guessing right about right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some tape, put some tape over right there, and so then I can draw my lines in the tape. And the scary part comes next of cutting. Alright, so I'm just going to wrap some tape around this area here. So if it lines up about right there, we'll be putting our lines. Wish there was a more precise way to do this. This seems more almost just guesswork. Shits and giggles, let me put the seat on right there. Of course, this is going to pop up since it's not really there. I just want to see how it's going to line up if it's cut there and there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. I might actually cut it just a little bit, just a hair back. I'd rather cut it a little bit too long the first time and have it not right and have to recut. Than to cut it too short. All right, here it goes. To say I'm a little bit nervous would be an understatement. So right about there. And there we go. Let me just see if I can get a little. And I am by no means an expert, but it is cut. That one looks a little crooked. So I'm just going to measure and then I'll file down and try to clean that shit up. All right, so that's what it looks like cut. So obviously there's a lot of burrs sticking out on that I'm gonna have to file down. I take a straight edge. It looks pretty even. When I measure here, then I measure here, this actually sticks out a little bit more. So the angle that I cut and didn't get it quite straight, it looks like if I straighten it out, it will match this side perfectly. So that should be good. All right, now to file these down, I do have this really cheap set of files. It was just a couple bucks. So hopefully they're enough to do the job. They don't look much better than a nail file, but we'll give it a try and see what we can do. So let's see if we could just get some of these. Yeah, it's just that piece right there. I'm telling you, that is a little bit nerve-wracking though, especially a new bike that was under warranty. Probably not anymore. Okay, so I got these filed down, and before I do the painting, I just want to take this and check to slide it in, make sure it lines up properly. I'm going to go ahead and start painting, and then while the paint's drying, might have to do a couple coats, we'll do the electrical. Wire the tail lights, turn signals, license plate light, all up. Alright, the way I think I do this is just take a plastic bag, this Rust-Oleum black here. So let's... And I think I'm doing that a little bit too thick. I need to stay back a little bit more. And it says it only takes 15 minutes for that to dry. So while that's drying, we'll go ahead and start looking at the wiring. Okay, so this is the MK Designs short tail kit for the Royal Enfield 650. This is the actual piece that sticks in on the back. So my understanding, the way it connects is this piece here connects there. This is what actually you bolt to the bike, and this is for the peg for the seat, so you can reattach the seat. This goes there, and then the license plate connects there, the license plate holder. And this piece here is for attaching the light, the tail light and turn signal strip. Attaches on there. Now what I did is, let me move this. Some people, I noticed, talked about the provided taillight being pretty cheap, flimsy, very thin wires. So a couple things I did is I got one that was a little more, seems a little more heavy duty, thicker wires, but the same idea. I also got this wiring harness, Royal Enfield wiring harness. That seems a little bit better than just trying to stick those wires together. Also, I got this. These are plate lights. So one of the things is when you take it off, the existing light for the license plate comes out of the tail light. The brake light housing is red, but underneath it's clear, so that way it shines down onto the license plate. These, it's just the bolts that connect your license plate to the plate holder are actually little LED lights, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to wire this into the tail light. And then the other thing that I got, and it came with two, but I only need one set, is for the turn signals. This, you know, being your only lights in the back for your brake light, your turn signals, just to me doesn't seem very safe. So I wanted to supplement it with additional small little signals. Now this one here, this one is the brake light and rear turn signals, but I don't think I want to use these. So that is red, so you would have your red brake light, and then it would also, I'm guessing, just blink for your turn signal. But the problem is that on this, you have your red brake light, but then you also do have your turn signals, which are yellow. So I don't want to supplement my turn signals and have one flashing yellow and one flashing red. So I think I'm not going to use these as a brake light or turn signals. I'm going to take what would normally be the front turn signals, because these are yellow as well. So I'll just have this for the brake and turn signals, and then supplement the additional turn signal with these here. You can see those, a nice bright yellow. So my thought is, if I can connect them together, so then they work in conjunction together. But we'll have to see how they wire up. I got these brackets, so my thought is to attach them at the top of the shocks, the rear shocks. But I'll have to figure it all out and see how it wires together and if it will work. Okay, and like it seems like a lot of people have done, I've gone to Mike Branch, his YouTube channel, and he had already done this and he tested the wires. And this is a little diagram he came up with. And so the top three is the tail lights on either side. I mean, the turn signals on either side, the tail light in the middle, brake light in the middle, bottom, and then the negative. So I'm going to go ahead and just test it out. So this white is the negative. Stick it there. And so this top right should be the right tail light, right turn signal. It is. Middle should be tail light. And there's a tail light. This should be the left turn signal lighting up. And this should be right here is the brake light. So you can see the tail light, and then the brake light is much brighter. So what I'm going to do now is take this harness here and match them all up, and then match them up to these here and wire everything together. And because I'm doing these license plate lights, so I'm going to have to hook these up to the tail light. And then I'm also doing these additional turn signals, not brakes. I'm not going to use them for brake, just for the turn signal. And so I'm going to have to wire these up to the turn signal as well. I just noticed a problem, but the problem also gave me an epiphany to solve my license plate light issue. The problem is, I'm not sure what size in India the plates are, but here they don't match up. If you put in one, the other side isn't far enough over. It's too far. It doesn't reach. So, I mean, you could always put in just one bolt. My solution is I'm just going to drill a little bit just to make the holes line up. And that made me think that if I'm going to drill, I might as well just drill a hole right here and just put one of these plate lights on. Okay, so I got that drilled out. So we could pass this through, see what this looks like. And now I won't have to put that extra connector in here for when I want to remove the plate. So that will go on like that. And that will work like that. All right, so I'll go ahead and wire up the rest of this thing. And I notice I'm just trying to stick this on, and as others have mentioned, this stuff does not stick very well. Not at, I mean, it doesn't even hold on now, never mind in the future. So I am gonna have to get something a little bit better. You know, maybe some 3M double-sided tape. I know they also did supply a zip tie. So possibly you could zip tie it on either end, because there is a gap right in there where you could pass a zip tie through. You can do zip ties right in the end, very clean, neat, won't even notice it. Okay, so I just used one zip tie just to hold it in place for now, just so I can get the lengths right if I pull on it. And to figure out what these lights are, just hooked it up to the battery again. So the black here is the ground. Now, you can see here the green is the right, the yellow is the left, the white I believe is the tail light, and the red the brake. Yeah, the red is a lot brighter than the white. Okay, so let's give this a go. I'm gonna run the harness up under here like such. Just gonna clean it up a little bit, but first let's connect this harness. I am sweating. It is hot here. So that will just tuck in there, and well, make sure I have these turn signals on the right sides, the correct sides. So there'll be one over there, and one will be over here. The little dangling ones. All right, everything good. The right. So these hanging down. This one's gonna go on this side. And this one, on the left, will go on this side. Like that. All right. Perfect. There we go. So the tail light comes on. Got the left turn signal, right turn signal, and the brake.